Traders, happy Thursday. It is Matt and Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you your daily dose of Vwapvision's Stock Talk.
It's where we use the volume weighted average price to make sense of the market. So let's just get right to it, shall we, Matt?
As you always say, let's talk some talk.
Nice one, man. I appreciate that because I think I've let that fly a couple of times. So, well done, my friend. So yeah, let's talk some stock right now. It was a pretty cool day, right? I mean, we've got a rally going. It's always exciting after the beating we've been taking for the past couple of months. So, not that we've been just like the market has, right? We're just sitting in
Yeah,
cash, just waiting for this thing to turn around. So.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very exciting. Bonds, again, we're just going to keep an eye on bonds. Now that we're in rally mode, we might set this back a little bit, but we're trending. We're just starting to find some support. I was just kind of staring at this chart a little bit, and you had a little trading range right here. Attempted to break out, and then it just knocked right back down, and then we're right back into range. So that's exactly what we want to see: either a continued rally in bonds, or at least a range. We don't want to see a breakdown of this. So it's really nice to see that get right back, kind of reverting to mean a little bit there. S&P 500. Now we have a confirmed rally going on here, right?
look at that.
New highs, yeah, new highs since the low. New lower. So we have higher lows, and now we have a new high on that. So the resistance is going to be the 5,600 level, where that VWAP is, the all-time VWAP. We were running resistance at the 20-day. We've closed above that, so we can kind of set that and maybe use that as a point of support for this potential rally. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool seeing it rally right off of the VWAP from its previous low of the bear market. Just bounced right off of there. We've thought that was significant at the time, and it's proving to be significant now. You know, you've got that monster
Awesome.
9% rally. We finally eclipsed that high, and so it's a good sign. Next step is the VWAP, right? And then after that, then we're in a green zone. So we also had some breakouts today, some very exciting, very strong looking breakouts, which is what the market's going to need. So one of the things I want to look at this weekend is kind of study the previous bear market's rallies, because there is the potential that this is just a bull trap, right? We could
Hmm.
run up right to that resistance, and then we start seeing the second round of selling, and then we get a test of the break of the low. So those are all still potential outcomes that we're going to keep an eye out for, and we are still in a red zone, right? So we're not getting the all clear. The market's not trading in all-time high territory. Still hasn't quite broke out. But it is rallying, and there are some stocks that are proving that they are already hitting new high ground. So that's exactly what we want to see. We'll just see if it can last. Same thing on the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq has two
Oh, great.
competing VWAPs that we're looking for. We've got the one from the sell-off, this wicked downtrend. That's the lower VWAP at about 17.5. But the all-time high VWAP is way up here, a little over 18. What is that? 18.6. So that's those are two competing, but that's a pretty significant rally from where it is now at 17.1 up to 18.6. So by that time, the market will probably be steaming and probably just roll right through that, or it just might be correction
Oh,
time for a rally. So those are just points of resistance we're going to want to look out for. Small caps breaking out of the range, following through from yesterday's attempt to break out. That's a good sign. The overhead resistance for them is obviously these lower VWAPs that are basically right where it's at, maybe up to 195. Then after that, it should be pretty smooth sailing up to the 210. So once we get above that,
oh,
that would be a buy signal for this market. But right now, a nice bottoming pattern going on there. And then same thing with the mid caps. Mid caps resistance on this fund is around 550. We do have some other, but these are probably going to not prove a whole lot. Now, it did provide support here, this upper VWAP here in March. So usually broken support tends to become resistance. So we kind of see that playing out a little bit yesterday. That's just one session. Might like to see that play out over a couple of days, and a break above that would be a nice step forward. But ultimately, the big resistance on that one is up at 550. So those are some of the levels that we're looking at. And of course, The VIX is continuing to come down, which you would expect to see on a nice solid rally of 2% on the S&P. So we want to see that continue, that trend continue. As long as these trends continue, we get some breakouts like we showed yesterday in Arrow review, and that we're going to show today that quite a few flashed the actual buy signal today. So it was, and they were pretty strong moves too, 2% on the S&P, and some of these moves were moving 5 or 6% or more. So pretty exciting day in that regard. I just brought this up because I really like this stock. This is the kind of pattern that I like to look for. And back in the red zone, I remember I was just like, I really like this pattern. It was
Yeah.
just a red zone breakout, right? And it did. It broke out. It tested. This is probably tough to hold through, right? That's a about a 7% drop. That's probably shaking you out. But then it presented another buying opportunity, and now it's hitting newer highs. I don't believe it's an all-time high. I think it could bring up on the weekly. Yeah, but it's getting close. We talked about how this was setting up very nicely, and it could easily get up to 5, particularly if the market participates and turns well. And that's exactly what's going on. We're getting a good market, and the
Yeah.
stock is just on a tear. So these are the kind of setups we want to look for. A nice strong run, a lot of sideways action, lower lows, and then a strong rally up, and then a pop off right through that. And there's the buy signal from the algorithm. So we've got a couple of stocks that are doing that kind of stuff, right? Sezzle, a nice strong rally, and we're getting lower highs, and then just boom, a nice strong rally up
Hey.
right to the VWAP. So if we see some continuation there, the algorithm will pick up the buy signal, and we'll talk about that in Arrow Review. Tempest AI, this is not quite as shallow as some of the other patterns, but it's still a similar kind of concept, running straight up right into its VWAP. You have its IPO VWAP as well as the all-time high VWAP are kind of converging. So you get a double breakout in that regard. And so literally on average, every holder since this IPO would then be in the money. That's usually a very strong signal, especially if the S&P hits a green zone. I would expect this one to probably be a leader as well.
All right.
Monday, similar running right back up to its VWAP. And the reason why I brought this up is because this is an interesting little thing here. So it rallied above the VWAP a couple of times, but it never hit our buy signal. So even though it had this massive run up, it never really flashed our algorithm buy signal, and it just continued to trade all the way down, back below, traded back up again, never hit the buy signal, traded back below. And so now we'll see, even though it had this big pop, and if you were chasing it, you ended up getting shaken out. But it's just kind of wild how that never flashed our buy pattern signal. So it got a potential to do that now. It's right back near the VWAP. It found some support
Yes.
above the previous low VWAP down here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Monday can. I mean, it's volatile. It's kind of never really got a good smooth trend going. It always just kind of up and then down, and it just kind of shakes you out quite a bit. So it might be a tough one to hold unless it tightens up and gets a good solid uptrend. But historically, it's a little bit volatile. Comfort Fix, the one I'm watching, it had nice support here, a good shakeout, running right up into its VWAP. So this is on the watch list as well. Nice 5.7% gain today on increasing volume. So that's exactly what you want to see. We want to see a continuation of this, and this would be an early breakout. A lot of these stocks, though, are going to end up trading sideways after this. These are pretty initial
Okay.
early moves. But 2 out of 10 are just going to keep rolling. And so that's the reason why we keep an eye on these. Just keep in mind, about 80% of them are just going to probably shake you out at least once. They might test a couple of times before they really get moving. So it all depends on if the general market keeps moving higher. But these are going to be our early leaders. These are the stocks we want to look for. NTRA. Similar patterns we're seeing right here. You got a double bottom going, clear resistance at the VWAP, and it's just popping right up above there. Ran
Yeah.
into resistance multiple times going way back to even before the red zone started back in February. So when you start seeing the stock pop above that consistently and living above that, buyers are starting to be in control. And then it means it's setting up for a really significant move higher. So that's why we watch these things. And then Spotify, the other reason why I brought this one up is
Hey.
when I first saw this, I was a little confused why the algo didn't pick it up, but then I had to actually look at the chart and it never flashed a sell signal. So
Huh.
even though it was down significantly and it probably would have stopped you out and it was rather volatile, the algorithm, it never flashed our algorithmic sell signal. So it did flash a buy signal. The market shook it down and then it rallied right back up. And so today, you really could consider today another buy signal. But overall, it just did the opposite of Monday. It never flashed a sell signal, so you were able to ride that volatility if you were using that setup. But it broke out in a red zone, so we didn't participate at the time, and rightfully so, right? It would have shaken us out. It would have taken a pretty good loss. Well, at least a manageable loss. But then it did turn around. So today actually is a pretty good looking buy signal there. So a nice strong rally starting here. Hopefully it can clear this middle peak, but that would be a cheap pivot. So pretty strong look from Spotify. And like I said earlier, Matt, there's a lot of breakouts today that looked pretty good, very exciting.
Right.
I'm excited for Arrow Review. I want to see what the algorithm finds today because now we've had back-to-back up days, so there's got to be some stocks setting up above their VWAPs. And so, yeah, with the S&P and the Nasdaq breaking out of those ranges, and we're getting some follow through in the mid caps and the small caps, we're starting to see some broader participation. So that's a good thing. This is all positive stuff. Again, there's resistance that we need to watch out for. It is a Bill O'Neill confirmed rally. Until we clear that resistance, we're not going to be in a green zone, which just basically means we're trading an all-time high. We've broken a new all-time high territory. And so I'm pretty excited about that. So treat it with caution. But if you want to take some risk, there's buyers going on. We've got a little uptrend starting, and that's the time to start testing some of the waters. So just
Yeah.
maintain your stop losses if they do turn against you, if it is resistance and it is a bull trap, then you got your stop losses in place. Just know the risk that you're taking. That's all.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's a fun thing to see. I would be super pumped if we can just finish tomorrow, finish a whole week on an actual really high positive note going into the weekend. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, right. Like a good solid, 2.5% rally on
Yes,
increasing volume where it closes in the
yes.
high. That was the only downside about today, right? Was the little bit lighter volume. But beggars can't be choosers, and we've talked about volume being not necessarily a second. I mean, it's a trip, right? I mean, you want to see it. It confirms what you're seeing, but it's not always necessary
Right,
to confirm what you're
right.
seeing. So sometimes price just simply pays, but we just want to use the volume as well. So if it was a picture perfect, nice 2.5% rally, and we got breakouts galore, and all the breakouts today follow through, then it would be, we'll have a pretty fun weekly review. So we'll see how it turns out, man. That's a good idea. I like it, buddy.
We will. I'm really excited. So, well, for all of you listening and watching us on either Spotify or YouTube, we want to say thank you. Make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, say anything you'd like. We'd love your feedback. Follow us on all social: Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter. We're also on Blue Sky. And for more information about us, who we are, our algorithmic trading program that we use, check out VWAPvision.com. That's VWAPvision.com for a little more information. And if you want access to the arrow signals that we keep talking about, those daily buy and sell signals we get from our algorithm, which monitors our watch list of over 200 stocks typically, definitely subscribe over on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And you can get access to some educational videos, how Jacey and I use this algorithmic program in our personal trading. And then again, those signals, which we're not financial advisors, but you guys can use those signals as you see fit or how you think it plays into your trading strategy. And we're just really, really thankful that you're with us here and following and listening. So thank you so much and happy trading, everybody.
Happy trading. All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit, Matt.
See you, Jace.